Well, hello and welcome to the Terri Cole Show. I am Terri Cole. So, if you don't know me, I'm a licensed psychotherapist, a relationship expert, and the founder of Boundary Bootcamp and Real Love Revolution. And I'm super excited for this episode, which happens to be episode number 234. So, when you're looking for your download later, because I've got a step-by-step guide for you, you're going to terricole.com/234. I feel like that is a lucky number. All right, moving into today's episode. Today I'm going to be talking about, actually, this is part 2. So those of you who might have been looking for part 2, 2 weeks ago, I did an episode on your relationship. Do you need to break up? Like, is it time to break up? And then I told you that I would then give you breakup ideas and scripts in the next episode. But then it happened to be Valentine's Day, so I did the Valentine's Day thing in between, and now this is part 2, which is breaking up, a step-by-step guide plus scripts that you can use to make it as easy as possible and in a lot of ways as humane as possible. So I want to say something about you guys. I get so excited. You're all so active on YouTube, sharing your comments and your questions and your stories with me. And I just want you to know that is literally one of my favorite things. If I do an episode and then I go back in and what you're saying is so meaningful to me and makes me know, because I look at how you respond, like, what are the episodes that are really resonating with you and what should I do more of? So shout out to one of our YouTubers on 10 Steps to Mend a Broken Heart. That was the actual video. Anya said, "This is so helpful. Thank you so much for putting this video out. I still fall into the trap of thinking that pushing my emotions down is healing because I feel guilty for having emotions that have an effect on other people." So what I want to say to you, Anya, is I understand that. But your next step in this process is really focusing on you, right? How you feel. Remember, you are not responsible for the emotions and the feeling states of other people. You're really not. Because you could say it perfectly and someone could still say that you were being mean if what you're saying is not what they want to hear. So focus on you and try to unpack that guilt a little bit. Like, why do you feel so guilty? There you go. But thank you, Anya, for being here, for leaving a comment for me. I super appreciate it. And Bobby Joe left a comment on mourning and grieving the dream. So that was one of the episodes. And she just said, that is a tip that is so overlooked, but so necessary. Wow. Thank you. Actually, was that the episode? Hold on. No, it's 10 Steps to Mend a Broken Heart. That was Bobby. That was one of the steps, is mourning and grieving the dream. And Bobby Joe thought it was really helpful. Well, I'm super psyched that you felt that way. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. So if you guys are not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do. And if you're not getting the updates, you got to hit that bell and then you'll get a notification every time something new comes out so that you don't miss a thing, because I don't want you to miss a thing. So shall we move into today's episode of the Terri Cole Show? I think we should. So before you actually break up with someone, or before you have the conversation, or before you wait too long that you're already so pissed that it'll explode, or you'll do it in a wrong, not the best way. I was saying in the episode 1 of this, the first episode, that when I was in my 20s, I waited too long. My only other actually live-in relationship besides my husband. I waited too long, and then I just had to move out that very second. So I moved out at like 2 a.m. in my pajamas, holding my pillow, and borrowed money from him to take a cab to my sister's apartment. Don't do that. That's super not nice. I mean, I didn't want to do that, but I did. So if we can hit things sooner, then we won't be as angry or as frustrated, so that you just do it. Like, you just have to get out. But that's not really, usually that's not the most humane. So the first thing I want you to do is prepare. If you know you're going to do it, stop being in denial. If you know you need to get out of it, admit it to yourself. Write down what you want to say. Remember, you don't have to justify why you're not in love with someone or why you want to break up with someone. And I find this to be a very common thing for women in my therapy practice. For years, they would say, but there's nothing wrong with him. Like, he's so great, or she's so great. They're so nice. Like, I don't feel like I can do it because they didn't do anything. So let's just all agree that sometimes someone's perfectly awesome and they're just not your person. And you breaking up with them is actually freeing them to be with someone who is their person, right? Who really does think that they're the most amazing human in the world or is madly and deeply in love with them. So I think it's important that we understand that a lot of times we're doing that to spare ourselves. I certainly was in my 20s because I didn't know what to say. I was so afraid of hurting this person because I did deeply love them. So you want to prepare, and you do not say, we never say to someone, we need to talk. Please don't. Do you love it when someone says that to you? It's like the worst thing that you can ever hear. It makes you go, oh God, I'm in trouble. Something terrible is going to happen. So you prepare on your own, and then you can set a time, pick the right spot. I mean, listen, if you're in a dangerous situation, if it's an abusive relationship, first of all, I've done other episodes, which will all be in the show notes, of how to end an abusive relationship, because it's completely different than this. If you think it might get a little heated, you might want to do it in a public place so the person, so it can't get too heated, right? And if you're actually afraid for yourself, there's no reason to do it in person. You don't have to. All of the other places say, do your best to do it in person. Yeah, okay. And if you can, sure, that would be great. It's respectful, it's honoring. My feeling is that if you're too afraid to do it in person, maybe there's a reason, and maybe it's okay not to. So that really is going to be your call. So you prepare, figure out where you're going to do it. You can even act it out with a friend, like talk about it, so that you feel like you've got the words. And don't worry, in your cheat sheet, all you have to do is go to terricole.com/234, and that will give you the cheat sheet that has the actual words. I'm giving you phrases and some language that you can use for the breakup. All right, you got to be clear and concise. You don't want to put it on the other person if you're the one who wants to break up. You don't want to be like, well, you've seemed weird lately. Like, it's so tempting to do all of these messed up things where we don't want to deal with it. And then the further down the road of the messed up things is that a lot of times if it's so painful that we're like, I don't think I can do it, or I'm so afraid I can't do it, like I don't want to hurt their feelings, unconsciously we do things that will make them break up with us. So that's really not cool either. It's not nice. It's putting all the onus on them. So if you know that they would break up with you if you cheated on them, I've had clients being like, I don't know what happened. I feel like I just want to, cheat with this person at work. And I'm like, no, you just want to not deal with what is happening. Because trust me, this person at work is a symptom of the problem in the relationship you're already in. So my feeling is no. When you start feeling that way, like you want to step out, or you're really care about the way you look, like you know when a relationship is ending. And if you don't, you can look for those signs in your partner. Now, I'm not saying getting healthy, but I mean being really preoccupied with the way they look, going out a lot, going out with friends, you not knowing where they are. Those are kind of all indications that something, they might be feeling differently. Doesn't mean they're cheating on you, but it's like they want to be single, and if you feel that way. So instead of waiting until you're ripe to have an affair with someone who will most likely not be your person, I'm just saying, being a psychotherapist for 22 years, how many times have I seen it work out? Once in all of that time. One time. And I've had many, many, many people have affairs and be sure that this person was the one for them. They were the one and only. They had to be with them. And what happens? Well, wherever you go. There you are with your unresolved shit. Right? It's just changing the person and changing the scenery doesn't actually change what's inside of you. So you've got to do your own work, keep your side of the street clean, and do your very best to honor what you experienced with this person. Because listen, if there wasn't something good about them, you wouldn't have been in a relationship with them to begin with, correct? Correct. So you've got to remember that. Like, treat them with loving kindness to the best of your ability. And even if they get mad, they may, if you're the one doing the breaking up, right? And that's okay. Not abusive, just mad, angry. Like they're not going to like make it easy, right? Well, you could have told me that, there's a million ways this conversation's going to go that's going to make you want to be defensive if you're the one breaking up with them. But this step-by-step guide that I'm giving you is going to give you a different option. You don't have to be defensive. You don't have to do that. Let them feel how they feel. If they need to blame you to get through it, let them. But you don't have to justify and say mean things or make them wrong or justify your position by saying, well, you're just boring, or I don't think you're smart, or do you know what I mean? Very uncool. And it's just not necessary. It's just not. So some of the language, and the rest of it will be in the downloadable cheat sheet, is the easiest, the fastest thing is to just say, listen, this relationship is not working for me anymore, and I really think that we should split. Now that's doing it in a softer way, even though that might sound harsh, but it's not. The person knows, listen, if you're to the point of splitting, both people kind of know it hasn't been working, but maybe you don't know how to make it better. But if you're done making it better, if you're past that point, you know that about yourself, that you've got to be honest about that. And if they say why, just say, I just don't feel the way that I think I should feel to be in a long-term relationship. You can tell them the truth without making them wrong. I love you, but I'm not in love with you. These are hard things to say, but they're truthful if that's true for you. And here's the reality. No matter what you say, if you are breaking up with someone who does not want to break up, they're going to disagree with you. Like, what are you talking about? Everything is fine. And you have to stick to what is your reality. If for you, everything is not fine, and no matter what is going on in the relationship or how they change, if you want out, then you want out. And that's your right. So it doesn't matter, because I know all the things we tell ourselves, like, oh my God, I'm in too deep. We have all the same friends. I'm so close with their family. Listen, this is your one and only life. And you don't stay together with someone in a committed relationship because you're good friends with their sister. Like, you don't. If you're married and if you have children, oh yes, that certainly complicates it. And I say, do everything you can. Go get into therapy together. Whatever you can do that would, so that you can say in your heart of hearts to yourself that you've done everything that you could. And if the other person isn't willing to do that, if you've offered to do it, then that's all you can do, right? You can't make someone else get into therapy, but you can take care of your own mental health. And I think that you should get into therapy yourself if you're thinking about getting a divorce, so that you're really solid in the leaving process. You've got to know who you're with. You've got to know what they might do, right? And if you have joint bank accounts and all this stuff is very complicated. So you want to be prepared, and you want to be able to take care of yourself. So it's okay to say, this is not working for me. I think we should go our separate ways, is another way of saying it. I think we need to break up, is another way of saying it. And the person may immediately get angry, may immediately cry, may immediately feel whatever. But again, you have to go into it knowing that it's going to be a painful and uncomfortable situation. And I want you to be mindful not to make a lot of promises that you're not going to keep. When I was younger, if I had to break up with someone, I would be like, but we should really stay friends. No, we shouldn't. Definitely not. It should be a clean break. That's the next step, is you want to be clear about having no contact, because you can't be the person who helps them through it. And if you're on the receiving end of getting broken up with, they can't be the person who helps you through it, because they're also the person causing the pain, or vice versa. So I'm not saying never, but I'm saying in the beginning, I really firmly believe there's got to be a clean break so that everyone can move on. I mean, just agree that you're not blocking each other on social media to be mean. You're doing it to spare each other pain. So set it up in the breakup conversation that is the way it's going to be. Because I do think that a lot of times we'll use but we'll still be friends and I really love you as a way of making the breakup easier. But what it does is it makes the breakup never really happen, because now you're energetically still super connected to this person. You're seeing what they're doing in their life. They change their status from in a relationship to single. Like, it's just so much bullcrap that you don't need, but it's also very painful. So you don't want to do anything to make the pain worse for yourself, because listen, even if you're breaking up with them, it's still painful for you. Both of these situations can be really brutal. So it isn't like you're the horrible one and they're the saint, or they're the horrible one and you're the saint. 50% of that relationship is you. 50% of that relationship is them. That's it, because that is all it can ever be, is 50-50. And you're responsible for your half. And if you know that you're done, you have a right to be done. Right? Prioritize your feelings. If you're not in love, don't waste your youth and your beauty. It's okay. It will get better. You will be glad you did it. I mean, and the person I broke up with, I had to move out, sleep on my sister's couch. We owned friggin' cats together. Like, what a nightmare, right? It felt like, I was like, it's so overwhelming. My 2 cats during my hip hop phase, they were called Queen Latifah and Moni Love. I still love those cats. I did not get those cats in that breakup. You know what though? I was like, whatever. It'll make me feel less guilty. Take the cats, you know? So my feeling is you've got to know what you're doing, and don't make any promises in the short run that is really going to mess you up and the other person too, because it's not loving to stay in touch with them. It's not loving to become friends with benefits with your ex when they're still in love with you. That's super not loving, actually. Think about it. They're still in love with you and you're like, oh, it's all right, I'm not in a relationship. It's not, right? How about have a relationship with yourself? Have respect for the person that you're breaking up with. Give them space. It's loving to let them move on and to do everything that you can to not impede their process of moving on. So I just say, social media, done. No communicate, just done. And do it together, right? And then how do you move on? Very quickly, the moving on piece is you've got to spend some time alone, right? Understand, unpack. What is your downloaded love blueprint? What were you drawn to in this person? What are you going to miss about this person? You really want to mourn the dream, as I said. So there's an episode that I talked about at the top of this, 10 Ways to Mend a Broken Heart. And even if you're the breaker-upper, your heart could be broken too. In that situation, when I was the breaking up one, I was devastated. I was bawling my face off for weeks. I felt so guilty and terrible and horrible and mean, and it was brutal. And I was so young, and I was such a codependent that I don't even know. And such an empath. Was I feeling his feelings and my feelings? I have no idea. But it sucked as bad as it did when someone had ditched me. So I don't think that either one of those positions is super enviable, right? We've all had it happen to us, I imagine. We've all been in both positions, probably. And it's brutal. So be kind to yourself. Give yourself time after a breakup. Have fun. Do things that are just self-care and nurturing. If you've never had therapy, get into therapy to understand, to unpack, or watch all of my videos on how to do that, because they're all free and they're all right here on YouTube. That's why you need to subscribe and hit that friggin' bell so you know when something else free is coming out for you. Because there's lots. If you just got here, just tool around, peruse. I got videos on all the things that have to do with love, communication, boundaries, sex, passion, everything. So take a look around. Let me know what you think, because I get so incredibly into it. And if you're going to leave a comment and you want me to actually see it, take a snap of it, post it on Instagram, tag me at Terri Cole, TerriCole. I would love that. Say something about the episode, tag me. you know I will find you. Or you can also find me on Facebook and do the same thing. I love a picture moment. It makes me feel so happy that anything that I'm doing is adding value to your life, because you guys know you are all the things for me. So I would love to see that. And on Facebook, it's Terri Cole, TerriColeLCSW, right? Because I'm a licensed certified social worker. Anywho, I hope that this was helpful. Please remember to the whole point was the guide and all of the more language that is actually in the guide. So what you want to do is don't forget to download it. Go to terricole.com/234. That's it. That'll take you right to that download page. You don't even have to go to all the other things. And then you got to put your info in, but it's free. And a lot of you are already on my list, so don't worry about it. So terricole.com/234 to get your free thing. And as soon as you opt in, I will send it off to you. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to know what you think about this. If you are in pain and this helped you in some way, please tell me. My whole trip is to hopefully lessen your suffering and help you increase the joy in your life. So thank you, thank you, thank you for being here with me. I so appreciate you. And as always, take care of you.